And in 3, 2.
Okay,
One.
are we rolling?
And in 3, 2, 1.
Just letting you guys know, these guys really are that chill. Okay.
Welcome back to Konversation with me, Rick,
And me, Naeem.
and our very special guest, Scott Ferreira.
You
Now,
know,
how do you say it in Portuguese? I like that.
Ferreira.
Ferreira.
Yeah.
Do we have to do the whole pen thing? Ferreira.
No.
Dude, that's
Italian.
Italian.
That's a more Italian. But that happens all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
It just feels like you have to do this with the...
I actually thought you were Italian. We were just walking to get some coffee, and I was like, I think he's Italian.
It's actually the last name's Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
But I get that all the time, so it's you are a good company.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start with where are you actually from then?
I'm actually from the Bay Area.
Cool. Where?
Native.
Yeah, native. I originally, I did most of my growing up in Morgan Hill, which is just south of San Jose.
Right.
Okay.
We know where
I've lived probably for the last, 20 years maybe in the Santa Clara area.
Mm-hmm.
And I just recently moved back to Gilroy about 4 years ago.
Wow. How do you like the Gilroy garlic smell?
Dude, I grew up in Morgan Hill. That's it. I gotta admit though, you don't even smell it. When I first moved back, I'm with you.
Right?
Yeah,
Anytime I drive there, I'm like, yeah, I like garlic, but not that much.
Oh yeah.
You know,
But
it's
after a while, I don't even smell it anymore.
Really?
No.
You get used to it, dude.
Yeah, you do get
Yeah,
used
I
to
don't know.
things.
Yeah.
I mean, I
They
like
can
garlic
punch.
in my food, but other than that,
Now I had friends that in the back roads of San Martin had lived next to a dairy farm. Yeah, no, that's a potent smell. I never got used to that one. The garlic one I did.
You ever drive through Wasu then over on 5 and smell the cows?
Yeah.
Now that's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
that's-
When you go right up there, right to that first rest stop, on that rest stop, that first stop where they got the Harris Ranch or whatever. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. See,
Yeah, you have to imagine though, people who live in an area like that, someone new comes into there, they're like, they have a funny smell.
Yeah. Oh,
that's being kind. I'm usually, God, what's that smell? Yeah.
That's too funny.
so Morgan Hill.
Yeah, Morgan Hill.
Well, we met Scott, or actually, this is our first day meeting. We've actually never met, but we got Scott's name, and we don't just pull names out of a hat, folks. We actually do our little
There's
bit
a
of
connection.
Yeah, there's a connection here. I was on the phone one day with Mickey, our good friend Mickey. Hello, this is for you.
What's up, brother?
And I said, hey, he goes, hey, Rick, call you Rick. You might want to interview my friend, man. He's a real good guy. And
Wait, does he text the way he talks?
Yes. It's like, dude. I'm like, all right, who's the guy? He goes, his name is Scott Ferreira. I said, okay, well, I'll reach out to him, sure,
Yeah.
And I guess right after that, I text you, and you're like, okay. Was he right next to you or something?
No, I just got off the phone with it. They might reach out to you and whatnot.
Oh, okay, wow.
I said, oh, okay, cool.
Now, he told me about you because he knows that obviously we're always looking for people to talk to. And not just so much, and I want you to understand, because a lot of people still don't think that they think that we only do martial arts, and we don't. We've talked to bodybuilders, we've talked to fitness gurus, and all the other different people. We actually talked to a chiropractor.
Yeah.
A
We heard a
nutritionist.
lot actually about that, yeah.
Things that do with the body, not so much just having to kill everybody.
Yeah.
So let's put that out there to these people.
Well balanced podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
We might save your life or kill you,
One or the other.
depending on your character.
Yeah, depending on the day, right? But one of the things that fascinated me about you when I was reading some stuff is you're into JKD.
Yeah.
But that isn't your main thing, though. Or is that the main, or do you do other stuff?
Yeah, how
Well,
that come about?
this is how I personally explain it. This is like I refer to JKD as the art and philosophy that was passed down from Bruce Lee. So I think it was who was it? Chris Kent, Chris Kent said it was the art, philosophy, and science. So it's a philosophy. So that's where a lot of the philosophy, the strategies, kind of like a guiding way of how to, and you can kind of not dump it in every martial art, but you can really bring that philosophy to it.
Right.
So the actual arts though, I do have a background, but my main arts are the Junfan arts. The Junfan being Bruce Lee's Chinese name, so I refer to them the Junfan arts. And then Kali, or Eskrima, or anise, and with a mixture of Ceylon.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm also, those are the arts I train in. My goals or my emphasis are on self-defense, which I look as a legal term. As legal,
Yes, smart move.
So, and I also look at my other passion is in human behavior. So
Oh, there's a twist. There's a twist.
Yes, yeah,
That's interesting.
I have a master's in human behavior. And I'm not saying I'm like some real smart guy or anything, but
Sure you are.
I
Smarter than us.
No.
Right now, you're the smartest guy in the room.
No.
He's dedicated enough to have gone to school to get that.
Yeah,
And all I was doing, please help me. No, that's
yeah, we're just making this up as we go.
He passed with the C average.
That's not too far from the point.
So
I made by the skin of my teeth. Oh, God,
It
we
was
can
a
just
long
let it
night's
hang.
struggle.
Yeah. It was probably the hardest thing I ever did in my life. I'd
Really?
rather spar 5 dudes in a row than go for my master's degree again. It was
And he has a
that
messed
hard.
up back and a knee that he's still recovering from right now. He
Yeah.
still want rather fight 5 dudes and go to school.
I'd still rather do those 5 guys and then do that rather than get master's degree.
So you brought up a fascinating thing because
Yes.
in our system, the Bladed Mind, big plug, we don't look at things the way everybody else is. And when you said, I'm like, dude, my head is starting to bust.
I know.
Because I'm like, we look at things scientifically.
Right.
In our
Mechanical, and then theory and principle.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have to evaluate the person in front of you, which
right,
is
human
Yes.
behavior.
human
Yes.
behavior.
And you also have to evaluate yourself.
Very important.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
But wow, okay, good. Thank you, Mickey. This guy's good.
And to just capitalize, Rico and I had a short conversation, just getting to know each other before we started this, is that when you talked about having these small classes, and these talking about teaching individuals and talking about being the art given, that totally resonates. That's why I stopped. I said, Dad, I love that, because I can't probably teach. I've taught maybe a couple big seminars, maybe twice in my life, and it's really hard because I'm sitting there looking at this whole card. Okay, I'm already thinking, that person's going to really. That person needs this, and I need to talk to them because I need to have that other part. So to get to know them, because if they just want to go through the motions, great. But then again, I think you and I agree that maybe this isn't. I'm not the right person for you.
Exactly.
It's kind of passionate for me, right? Yeah. Anyways, I just want to just touch base on that. Yeah.
And I'm glad that you said it because we've gone. Between the three of us, we've done 1,000 seminars. We've been to a bunch, and early on in my time, the seminars, you were only going to pick up maybe 10% if you're lucky of what you saw for the 4 or 8 hours, depending on right. That's all you could remember.
And that's if you're a good note taker.
Well, they didn't even want you to take notes. Remember?
Oh,
put that shit away. Get in here, get in here and do the
You
stuff.
have to feel it.
Yeah. And you couldn't record because back then we didn't have them.
No. We're giving our age a little bit. But
yeah, you're absolutely right. And even in the seminars these days, they ask you not to record them.
Yeah.
We're always saying, no, bring out your cameras. We want you to, because you paid to get in here.
Yeah.
You should be able to take something home.
Yes.
And if your memory is as bad as mine, you aren't going to remember shit. Especially with the stuff that we do, right? Depending on your system, you can't remember half the shit.
Wait, what was the third move to get to the throat?
I'm my hands raised and yes, that was my experience.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate. My main instructor I've been training with probably for over 20 years, the last 20 years, that he let me film my privates with him.
Oh, there you go.
But it was back in the day when we started it. It was like he gave me that look when I first asked him, "Can I work on?" And he gave me that look. I said, "Dude, I ain't gonna share with anyone."
Right.
Because I'm I'm driving 7 hours down there to train with
There
you.
you go.
Why would I want to share that?
Yeah.
I'm
You
greedy.
know, so
I'll charge for it. But
I'll pay for it. Just let me do because I'm a crappy note taker, but I can sit there and look at video and go, got it. Okay, that's
I
what we're
remember
gonna
what he
do.
said about
You're a visual learner that way. Okay.
Yeah.
But and again, that's very important in learning, isn't it?
Yes.
Like you were saying, you human behavior, because
Yes.
human behavior sucks.
Well, as you say, he had to learn his own behavior. How do I learn?
Yeah. And
God, was that a journey?
Really?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Because The hard part was when I first started teaching, and I still get a couple of this stumbling block now, is that I want to teach everybody the way I learned.
Yeah,
So they're not realizing it. Yeah, you know, and what really was the kicker was about, oh God, it's been a long time, probably about almost 20 years ago, while I was training, I also started working in special education.
right.
Oh, that's right.
Nice.
So understanding how you had to find different ways, just like us martial artists do, different ways to kind of like solve a problem. You can't, with kids that have a disability, put them in a classroom with all the others and expect, keep up there, Sparky. It don't
Not gonna
work.
Chin up. Yeah.
So I had to understand how I was watching that and said, then I had to do the real hard work. Go, okay, how do I function, and how is that helping or hindering the person you're trying to
God
teach?
damn it! See, he thinks just the way I do.
Yeah.
We had a student who
He has training though.
yeah, no, and I did it on my own. So I had a student who was having
Instinctive.
problems, right? He was having problems, and he had told me, you know, he had gone to other schools, but he never stayed too long because nobody wanted to help him. To kind of almost just let him go
Yeah.
because he couldn't do the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was watching him, and he was doing our stuff, and I said, you know, then I asked him, I said, did you have a learning disability in school? Because as a matter of fact, they did.
Yeah.
I said, oh, what was it? He goes, well, I was dyslexic, I also had a hard way of just learning things.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay.
Nobody had asked him before.
Yeah.
The moment
Yeah,
I asked the
yeah.
question, I said, okay, good, now I know what to do.
Yeah.
And then he became a really good student.
That's awesome. That goes back to where we were talking about before, I think, that having
Right.
these shorter so you can attention, because we also, I understand, I'm not going to put down anybody putting up a school, because I know if that's what they're doing to put food on the table,
Oh,
I
yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
I used to, way back then, I was very negative towards the whole McDojo thing, you know, and that's a bit.
You and I are gonna get along.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, I saw how really willingly they wanted to run this business.
Right, and it was
And
a
they have
business.
these side contact, you
Yeah.
know, like these side conversations of, I was like, why don't you teach this or teach this? And same after I was, Scott, I gotta put food on the table. I gotta keep them in here and training.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, long back the big
Nothing
thing
wrong
was,
with that.
and Mickey will tell you, it was all about heads, butt, knees, and elbows when we first started. It's
Yeah.
all about that
Yeah.
hardcore
And,
stuff.
you know, and
Yeah.
yeah, back in the days when, because I started probably about 76 or so,
Mhm.
and you're right, it was very physical. There was no insurance things.
Yeah.
You got hurt, you got hurt.
Yeah, you got your ass kicked by a green belt girl.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's just the way it was, and we knew
It's-
that, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And now you go today.
Oh God, no!
Yeah.
You'd be lawsuit. There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if they just quit and leave, you're lucky.
Yeah,
But
right.
lawsuit. Oh my God, you hit me in the head. And I only think about, God, that's the whole deal. I came here to get hit in the head, so I know what it's like in a safe environment.
Right.
I was never a fighter, but I wanted to learn to protect myself.
That's-
You know, it's just like, God, if I gotta
So
get.
ask
That's
him-
why I like
yeah.
it.
Ask him one of the things that we always tell our students when they get hurt here.
There you go.
Oh, what? Oh. All right, so take that over.
Take two.
Yeah, ask him how.
Let me get in that. So tell me, what do you say when you? What am I supposed to? What's the line? What's my line?
Line.
What do we tell our students when they first when they get hurt? Yeah.
What do you tell your students when they first get hurt? Thank you, that was good.
Yeah, that was great.
You weren't doing what you were supposed to.
Oh,
And it's your fault.
the hard
It's your
lesson.
It's your fault.
That took way too long to get to that point.
I like it though.
Even I lost interest in what was being said. I was like, wait, no, we're done with this.
But yeah, we always tell them, you know, you come here to learn something that is going to be very physical and violent.
Yeah.
You got to expect to get hurt.
Yeah. The one thing is that what I found out, and this was huge a few years ago, is that there are some people that will come through your door that actually have traumatic experiences, and like a lot of DV.
Yeah.
A lot of it where if you start them that way, it will reinforce the reenacting that, and you have to be very, very careful. Sometimes martial arts are not the best people to go for, because we're building up and say, you want to get that belt,
We're not very sensitive.
or you want to get in shape, and that works for some people,
Yes.
because it's not a cookie cutter thing for everything.
Yeah.
But
The whole drill
that's
sergeant and
but the one thing is okay, because you might be doing them a disservice.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's why I
the
was
way.
telling you, we talk to the individual rather than to the
Yeah,
masses,
yeah.
so we understand
Yeah, that's-
exactly.
It's
As a matter of fact, one of our female students, Risa, she does a rape prevention class. And during one of her classes, actually at Mickey's old place, was it Emeryville?
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the female participants broke down and had to step away for a while. I mean, she was really crying, but at the end of that class, she was probably the best.
Strongest.
She was the most improved out of all the students.
By the end of
because,
it,
like you said,
she was
really,
able to move through the process.
It resonates, but it's a difficult thing, and it's not for everyone. But I want to put you in the hot seat for a second, because we're talking about human behavior and how does that play out in teaching, especially in martial arts. If you did a seminar, how would you do it different?
Oh man, you hot seat, right? Well,
You
first of
wanna
all,
punch
but then again, we're back to the same thing. First of all, it depends on who's the seminar for. What do they ask for in the seminar? Because even then, it's all pre. Because I said, wait, are you asking me to go there and teach about how many people are you expecting, and you want to teach them self-defense? And so, what self-defense are you asking for? What aspect?
This is the first time I've heard.
I love that. Most people would just start rambling on. I would teach this and this and this.
Yeah,
but you actually ask questions, dude.
No.
I'm gonna go to your seminar. Let me
Yeah,
know when. Can I get a free ticket? Can I get a freebie already?
I'll put your name on the list of the right? There you go.
That's what it is.
No, that says a lot about your character and what it is that you want to get across, because most people have an idea of what they want to do, but you're asking parameters. You're like, look, I'm not going to know until I'm there and I know what the hell is going on.
And that's not me bragging. That's me that I failed at that many times.
I get it.
That, I'm going to teach them. I had two. I'll give the example. I had two female students. I taught them basically the same way. One put a guy in the hospital. The other, she broke down, and it was so hard for me to I mean, up till then, it was always the other way around. I'm not talking about my students that were females, but secretly, I don't know if you had this. You had Sifu. I had this. I got into it last night, and I'm secret back. Oh God, hope maybe just push or shove the guy. Didn't use anything. I taught him. It's like so. And I said, well, what did you do? So, I arm wrench him. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
And you're thinking, tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm thinking, oh, my God.
I'm going to have the cops knock
Oh,
on the
yeah,
door.
right. So I was more on that side. But when you have that one person where it's like, they couldn't bring forth. And we're talking about drilling, the drill sergeant example, and getting through that. It's like, so now, for me, it's more of if I'm teaching a seminar, I'm like, what do you want and how many people do you think at that point? I said, there's no way I would say I'd do you a disservice, because there's no way I could teach that to that many people and feel good about it. You know what I mean? It's like,
thank you so much for saying that.
And it's hard because there's an expectation. There's also the culture of martial arts here in America, right? It's like, well, what do you mean? I've seen this guy teach 100 people. And I said, and that's great for him.
Right.
That's great for him.
No? How many of those people in that class actually really learned anything?
I was with one of the organizations I was affiliated with. I was there for his first seminar in England. There was easily over 100 people there, and it's like, all right, Scotty, go out there and do the demo. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, and it was a good thing they were just drills. But if I talk about certain things, I said, what are we going to talk about? I said, I could maybe part down, but if it'd be just glossied over, right? It's just like an hope. And then you hope for this. You got people coming to you after somewhere. Dude, I really like what you said. Dude, give me your number. I'd really like to.
Yeah, that's
what they
scenario.
need, and that's best case scenario.
Best case scenario is that they come over to you and say, "Hey, I'd like to learn more." But that never happens, though.
No. Yeah. Well,
unfortunately.
Well, there's too few and far between.
Exactly.
That's what I'll
it don't be a regular thing.
I've been there, done that. It's amazing what you're talking about, because obviously we feel the very same way. I mean, because we will go to seminars nowadays, right? And I tell you, I won't even participate. I'll go, I'll pay the money, and I'll just watch. And not just because I'm an instructor or a guy in my own system, but I'm going to support the individual. Because they're friends of ours, and we want to go, and I'll have my students play and do this stuff. But
he'll have us pay.
Yeah. as a main instructor, I want to go and support this guy, and I'll give money or whatever. But the stuff that I see, especially at my level and at your level, I imagine, you go to somebody else's seminar, you really aren't going to sit there and participate anymore. There was a day when you used to, but nowadays, right? You go in, you give the money, you support the guy, and you just watch.
Yeah.
For the most part. But
Or helping the people out there catch up.
Right,
Yeah.
but-
yeah. Go ahead.
But that's my part. The next part is that. But the next day in your class, you go to this. Is okay. How many of you guys understood what happened yesterday at the seminar? And then you break it down and you explain blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I can get out of those. Is that the very next day I have to kind of
It's a learning tool.
reteach that seminar in my class.
More work for you.
Yeah, but because Naeem will tell you. We get back to our class, and I said, "Okay, Naeem, do you remember what happened yesterday?" And he'll go, "Well, this is," and then I'll go, "No, here, try this," and then he'll do it. And I go, "Boom, boom," and I'll do it. He goes, "How the hell did you do that? You were just watching. You weren't even participating, and you're able to." Because we all understand at our level,
Yeah.
we understand what was going on. We understand
Our level.
Well, it's a fact. But we look at it and we say, okay, I don't need to do moves. I understand what he's talking about. We've seen that in some form or another.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we go back to our class, we say, hey, here's what the guy was trying to convey. What did you guys get out of it? Because I'm more interested about what they picked up, not what I picked up.
Yeah.
I know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I want to understand, how did my students receive that information? And how are they now trying to work it, and can they get to work it?
Yeah, and that's an opportunity for you to see how they pick up information too.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Yeah, that's very.
But that's the only time the seminars are good for me, though.
I get it. I have to. I don't always usually have lots. I'll usually if I have one or two of my own students,
Right.
and if it's somebody like Mickey,
Right.
because we did this at the seminar he hosted, and I remember where Guru Brian was teaching his part. I was kind of doing it, but I was watching him. And